Happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. Shelton Hall here. This is the HullCast, June 19th, 2013. Sitting here with the man himself, musician, activist, etc. Party Phil. We've got a few things we're going to talk about right now. We're out here in Riverside, sunny Riverside, on the banks of the historic St. Johns River. Birds and various military aircraft flying overhead, none of which has anything to do with us. We're going to begin, I guess, talking about Turkey. We're going to talk Turkey with Party Phil. That'll be the title. Hashtag Talking Turkey. That's right. Now, as everybody knows, the situation in Turkey, ongoing series of protests, conflict. It began in a very small, localized sector of Gezi Park, this historic park, and then it's expanded now to include.
May I just Gezi Park? Yeah. Gezi Park is the last green area in the municipality of Istanbul, in the neighborhood of Taksim Square, which is a historic neighborhood for Istanbul and has a lot of culture attached to it.
That's right. And the protests began in relation to the planned destruction of that park to make way for development.
Exactly. And that has been happening for the past 10 years in that area of Istanbul, Taksim Square. That a lot of historical institutions are being paved down, and we have a lot of corporations coming in.
Well, you say the process going on for 10 years. What was it that turned the thing at Gezi Park into the international news story that's become over the last 2 to 3 weeks?
Well, what started off as a protest in a park in Istanbul, Turkey, with a few environmentalists. If we want to talk about the players involved.
Yes.
Turned into show of police abuse and police abuse.
Yeah.
And it basically and the government cracking down on citizens and not respecting certain human and civil rights by attacking people so grossly and violently. Tayyip Erdogan.
Yes. PKK?
No, that's something different. The AK Party. PKK is the Kurdish people.
Yes, we're
the PKK are different people.
That's patriotic Kurdistan.
Kurdistan.
Which is engaged in their own. Now,
which somehow the issue of the Kurds has made way into what was a small fragment of Turkish a country. What was once something as left field per se as environmentalists and Taksim Square and Istanbul. The Kurds have found solidarity within the protest that manifested as such as a result of police abuse and authority, and how regular citizens coming out because they see all types of Turks of all kinds of nationalities and not nationalities, political affiliations, different ethnic groups, different socioeconomic organizations, and different and young and democratic parties.
Well over 1 million protesters across. It started in the park with, I believe, a couple hundred people at most.
No, even less.
Even less.
Yeah.
And it's grown now to encompass over 1 million people in more than 40 major cities and most of the minor cities throughout Turkey. It's cut through a lot of ethnic divisions, cut through a lot of political divisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very. I find it very similar to what happened with Occupy.
Absolutely, it's spontaneous. It's young people at the forefront. It's
the police crackdown on Occupy Wall Street.
Police crackdown, right? Exactly, and the state, but the difference is that in Turkey, well, we'll see how long did Occupy last for.
It lasted.
It
lasted for 6 months in its like formal iteration, the formal protest iteration. It's now. I would argue that Occupy is still in effect. I would argue that the people involved in Occupy have continued to engage those issues that they feel most strongly about, whether it's your bank transfer day. I would point to the recent march against Monsanto just a few weeks ago as an example of how Occupy concepts are continuing to push forward into 2013 and beyond. What I'm looking to see, in fact, and we did not see much of it in 2012, unfortunately. What I'd like to see coming in 2014 is how much can the American Occupy movement take those concepts and push them even further forward into actual electoral capability.
Well, let's ask ourselves this question: will young Americans in college and all different types of Americans or young people see what's happening in Turkey and take inspiration from it?
Yes.
Or even more, will what's occurring in Turkey, as we've seen, is also occurring somewhat similarly in Brazil,
yes.
South America.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's another point that we're going to get to.
Yes. And Israel. There have been demonstrations recently in Tel Aviv related to things like rent increases and, again, development issues as well. You have this sort of younger generation of, it's like we were talking about earlier, how the modern age is kind of a little bit Andy Warhol, a little bit Marshall McLuhan. You have such a highly technologized, whatever.
Technocratic.
Someone call me, let me know how to pronounce it. It's such a highly technologized.
Technocratic.
Yes. Very young, technologized population that's politically engaged, has access to large amounts of information. They have social media tools that did not exist 5-10 years ago to bring people together and to organize and corral this large amount of information.
I want the world to see my tattoo. Yeah.
Yes. Yep, that's a nice tattoo there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you have a coupon for that?
No, I got it.
Is that a Groupon?
It was an amazing person that does really great work and did
Graham,
it.
Right?
Huh?
Was it Graham?
No, it was Susie.
Susie. Props to Susie. That's a good tattoo.
Thank you, Susie, wherever you are.
One of the better Virgin Mary tattoos I've seen.
I have legit tattoos. Like, I will strain through unity.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I'm a fascist, but it means that I like fascist slogans. And these these three moons is that's part of the Turkish MHP. Turkey again, ultra right nationalists also engaged in protests in Turkey.
I once thought about
think about America. If we could get environmentalists, United States of America. If we could get environmentalists and we could get conservatives to align with like the real issues and the realities of how we all lose under society's expectations and norms and how people go crazy, then maybe we could get a lot accomplished.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And forget about what the media says, because they don't care about us, they don't care about America, and they don't care about you or anybody. They're going to distort your mind.
Yes.
And you're going to hate somebody, and you're not going to know why you hate them.
It'll be interesting to see how these recent developments play into next year's political activity. Because again, yes, like I know before, all next year, 2014, all 435 U.S. House seats are going to be up for grabs. Okay. Most of the state House seats, particularly in Florida, and I think most other states will be up for grabs. 33 of the 100 United States Senate seats will be up for grabs, and half of the governorship will be up for grabs. And of all those races, probably at least half of them, well, about half of them are races that the current incumbent is, either term limited out or has already stated they don't plan to run again. So you're looking
Shelton Hall laying down the facts.
Of course, you're looking at upwards
Statistics.
of hundreds of electoral seats, all coming up at the same time here in Florida. I mean, across the nation, and here in Florida, here in Northeast Florida, where we live, on the sunny banks of historic St. John's River.
Riverside.
Woo! We are in a very interesting position because not only is pretty much every seat in the state electorally statewide is coming up for grabs in the November 2014 time slot, and then in March 2015 all the local slots. So here in Jacksonville, the mayor, the sheriff, all 19 city council seats, tax collector, several other things, all up for grabs on the same ballot.
Why doesn't every young person try to run for office?
I don't know. I'm curious. If I can do it, anyone can.
Absolutely. I mean, that's not a stretch. And I played, your show and it's like I would never do that.
And I didn't just run. I ran very well.
You kissed babies.
I did kiss babies, and
they didn't even care, man. They didn't even involve.
Babies loved it. If the election had been decided entirely by babies, I would,
a baby would be a liberal, wouldn't it? A baby would be a liberal or conservative.
I think a mix of both. Babies are the vital center, If we could harness the creative capacity of children's minds, particularly the minds of babies.
I want you to look up the Slave, look up the album cover for Slave, the band Slave from Ohio. They have an album cover that's really...
Are you saying that to me, or are you saying that to the global, worldwide, HullCast intergalactic international audience?
World, look up Slave, the band from Ohio, from the 70s.
Slave or Slave?
Slave.
Slave. Not to be confused with Slave.
Or Sade.
Yes.
Sade.
Lovely one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Oh my! Well, we're continuing to talk about this whole political thing because I just wanted to note that anyone can run. I know lots.
If Marco Rubio can run, then why can't I run?
Exactly. I mean, he's no more of a livelihood than anyone else. If I can run and do well. Only reason I lost was because there were 6 other people in the race, and I just didn't raise enough money. I might
be too intellectual for certain aspects of society.
No such thing. You're a handsome white man with a college degree.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're right. I am a white male, and I'm going to be getting a college degree soon.
Yes. That's right.
And the world is going to be my oyster. I'm going to be like Tony.
I am neither a white male nor a college graduate, but I work with
He's a down-ass G.
Oh, okay.
That's what he is. He's a down-ass G.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Coming from me, that means it. But now, again, we were talking about this Occupy thing. I wanted to see the political activity from Occupy that energy translate into 2012, a crucial point in which liberal progressives screwed up. I wouldn't consider myself necessarily liberal, but I'm definitely a progressive, hardcore. And I think one area where they screwed up was by not embracing Occupy for what they were bringing to the table, not embracing their understanding of the issues, not embracing their energy. Occupy should have been like a street team for Obama 2012. Street team for the kind of things your Alvin Browns were doing. Occupy should have been a means by which to begin taking power in the state, statewide away from the Republicans. But Democrats fronted on it. The Democratic establishment, from the president on down, fronted on the occupiers and went along with conservatives who wanted to shut those kids down because they didn't like their politics.
Right. And so
the same people that
the
are
state doesn't even. So what happens is when citizens of Turkey or North America or Brazil take to the streets and they want a dialogue with the government,
yeah,
and they want conditions of improvement, and and there's a whole lot of different people that come together under one single important thing like poverty or equality or democracy or one kind of one word rhetoric. We want. I think it's important to note that it's like, the government wants people to want. The government doesn't want to deal with the people, and the reality is that we think.
Well, the government is the people. The government, it's whether that's what always bothers me in these talks.
They send the police. They send the goon. They send the goons. They send the goons to talk to when people protest. They send the goons, and they give them bureaucratic laws to walk within the parameters of.
And it's a give and take process.
It's part of the state's mechanism as an invisible apparatus that controls that controls what we think, what we feel, and wants to poison and sicken us.
It's a give or take process, between both sides, because and we're going to get to talk about because what I want to say is this whole situation with the NSA, all the wiretapping and whatnot is kind of it relates a lot to what we were talking about with Occupy and
I got a funny joke.
Go for it.
I went to Mexico and all I got was this wiretapping t-shirt.
Ha ha ha.
Or I joined the Black Panthers and all I got was wiretaps.
Yeah.
But it's like, wiretapping. Now you can be wiretapped.
The same people.
And you didn't do anything, but it doesn't matter.
The same people who are angry about. Same people who are angry about the recent revelations that came from Mr. Edward Snowden, props to Edward Snowden, twinkle fingers Edward Snowden. The same people who are bitching about those revelations are the same people that are sitting by while occupiers are getting pepper sprayed and getting pushed around, and when New York police were doing things that subsequent courts, as you know, none of the Occupy Wall Street people have been actually convicted of the things they were arrested for. The various obstructing justice, resisting arrest. Police have been found lying under oath. They've been found obstructing justice, manufacturing evidence, destroying evidence.
Agent provocateurs.
Absolutely.
Hey, what's an agent provocateur, Shelton? Tell me.
Well, agent, it goes.
How would that exist within the parameters of what the governments want when the people come out? What they want to do is put a firecracker and have the firecracker explode over everybody.
Well, the role of an agent provocateur now, in defense
of the source here, because I remember
in defense of the authoritative structures, they would say that these men are simply undercover personnel. That they're just working to interdict things from the inside before they happen, and certainly that is the case, and that happens sometimes. There are legitimate
like Donnie Brasco, right?
Sure, like Donnie Brasco. But then what we've seen in relation to
Vice Division,
what we've seen in relation to Occupy, and in relation to take back a few years to some aspects of the environmental movement.
Do you guys remember Seattle 2002? Or G8 Summit, or Miami. When did that thing in Miami happen? 2003?
That was 2003, the free trade area of the Americas.
Yeah, it's
And they do stuff at Fort Benning, yearly.
Yeah.
If not daily.
West Point.
Mm-hmm.
School of the Americas.
That's right.
School of the Americas, look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up and look and then make the correlation to Central America and Mexico. And then think to yourself, wherever you live, why there's a lot of Mexicans and then why there's so many Central Americans in L.A., Miami, anywhere in America.
But to get back to the agent provocateur thing, I'd say the way I would define it, conventionally, the way most people think of agent provocateurs, the context in which we're talking about is an agent provocateur would be a representative of, government, or whatever the hell that is, whether it's local, state, national. It may be an official personnel, it may be just a civilian who is under their employer, under their influence for some reason, and they're there not just to listen in and to, find out things and relay information to help interdict plots. All those are legitimate uses, but what the specific role of the agent provocateur is to take people who are, yes, sabotage, essentially, to take existing organizational structures that, are just protesting or they're just engaged in civil disobedience. And they prod those people to specifically engage in illegal activity.
And they give the machine, like, the system, they give it a green light to shut people up and really show us how democratic we are, because we're a democracy. So I love America.
Oh yes, of course.
I mean, but it's like I love America. I mean, what do you mean? Like I'm in love with it? It's my girlfriend.
Well,
I love America.
America is like the woman you love and can't be without, and that just means you're down for whatever,
I know, definitely. I'm not
like Hunter Thompson said, buy the ticket, take the ride. I think that the American people and what I'm seeing from a lot of these
expensive to move, so I can never see myself.
What I see from a lot of these protest movements, not just Occupy, but things subsequently, because the Arab Spring, on Turkey and how that's kind of related to the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring has been going on for years. I trace it back to at least like 2009, the protests against the fixed, fake, bullshit Iranian election of 2009, where people protested the fake, fraudulent, bullshit election of Iran in 2009, and they were butchered in the streets, and they were tear gassed, and they were kicked around. Bunch of fucking villains, Allah's going to tap that ass on the other side. Watch. Anyway. Yes.
Yes, sir. We trippy, man. We always get trippy.
And it's been proceeding along since then. What I really get from Occupy, what I enjoy about it, it's a lot like the Tea Party. Personally, I see them as being very similar constructs. I was involved in both, like attending them, covering them both. I was fair about them both. I think it's very righteous and legitimate that people have legitimate grievances against government, and they take it out through peaceful protests, through civil disobedience. And I saw very little violence to the Occupy.
The thing is, the government hardly functions, but in only small instances, and it's not really the government that should run the people's lives. It's the people that should run the people's lives.
Well, so the government is the people. That's right. That's what it's all about. What these movements should show people is that the government is responsible. We can, it's entirely legitimate in my view for the kids who are protesting at the Occupy Wall Street, Occupy insert city here, would take that forward and become involved in political action. And you're seeing that. They're involved in journalism. They're involved in staffing. They're involved in helping to run campaigns. The Democrats fronted, instead of using that energy to help bolster their electoral chances in 2012 and to actually take the majority in Congress back to the Republican Party, they chose instead to go with the conservative and shut those people down. And that plays right in directly to what's happened now at these subsequent revelations from Edward Snowden about government wiretapping. This is all stuff that people have talked about for years. Edward Snowden's
wiretapping, never heard of that before.
Snowden's the first person to talk about this stuff without being dismissed as a conspiracy theorist. And if you can say what you want about
conspiracy theorist, like the movie, remember, with Mel Gibson?
Yeah. Say what you want about him as a person for what he did. Putting that information out there, I think, is a public service. Because for years we've been taught, those of us, I'm 35, those of you from the Stone Age, from the pre-internet age, from the pre-Samsung Galaxy Note, or
like an iPhone
smartphone.
5, dude, I don't even have a phone. I have a phone, but I don't.
Your phone's not charged.
I got a badass phone, but I don't even need it on me.
You should take the phone and just hold it against you and charge the phone with like the electricity that radiates from your phone.
Thanks, man.
Just like the lightning like charisma.
I can't wait till I can put the phone in my head and charge it every time. We're thinking about the future now, and we're gonna put the phone inside us one day, or we can put it next to our body, and our body heat is gonna be able to charge phones.
Yes.
Like so. Look, Phone's already charging. Because I'm hot. I'm stunning.
Oh, yes.
I'm stunning, dude. I'm stunning.
So you'd be like, hey, baby, let's cuddle. I gotta charge my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, that's
I gotta
dude.
charge my phone real
that's a good
fast,
idea.
but I can't do it without you. That's like, yeah.
Hey, come over. I really need to charge my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
That
You gotta make an excuse for anything, right?
those things happen. But and all right,
Where are we going off?
well, we were talking about we're talking about protest movements and as it relates to the NSA thing. What I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
This
absolutely.
The donation, my 10-minute long question is what role?
Come on, keep it going here.
What impact do you think the domestic wiretapping regime and the knowledge of the public knowledge of this wiretapping regime, this government surveillance regime, how do you think that will impact these upcoming elections in America in 2014, as well as the larger thrust of social protest movements in the United States?
These were 4 questions.
Yes. Okay.
There are only 4 questions.
It's my show, so you'll answer the 4.
Okay. What was the first one again?
I don't. What role will the government, the government wiretapping and the knowledge of the government wiretapping, how will that influence electoral activity and/or protest movements in the United States moving forward? That's one question.
Okay. Maybe in reality there would be something that occurs either fabricated or not fabricated, and it takes up it gets into your mind and gets stuck there, and you totally forget about this and amnesia sets in.
Right.
And you totally forget about Edward Snowden, just like we forgot about Afghanistan, Iraq, and everybody else. Mm-hmm. And every other.
Like we've already forgotten about Bradley Manning.
Or did we forget? Did you America? Did you forget about Adam Lanza and Newton, Connecticut?
They have. I mean, it's still something that people know about, but these tragedies, they occur so fast.
I'm the one that said I wasn't going to bring it up or talk about it. And exactly that's.
I don't mind talking about it.
But it's not so much about that. It's like
fuck Adam Lanza. Fuck all these shooters. I have no sympathy for any of these mass murders. They're all bullies. I don't care if they're problems.
Hey, America, let's sit down and talk about why things are going the way they are.
I mean, I'm as Second Amendment as anyone else. I'm pro Second Amendment, but let's be honest.
When we talk about something, when Shelton and I we hardly get together, but
why is it harder to get a marijuana pipe in Florida than it is to get an AK-47?
Right. I wonder why that is.
I mean,
they don't want us to get stoned, but they want us to have access. They want us to easily able to get. They want normal or not, or they want anybody really to able to purchase a machine gun, a firearm. Where in
all guns are machines.
As easy as they can really go to the movie theaters, something like that. Honestly.
Yeah, and
I can as easily go to a show where I can buy a car as I can get a gun.
I mean, let's be,
When do you ever talk about guns? Talk about them, because talking about them doesn't mean a gun's gonna come in my fucking hand. I'm gonna blow your brains out.
Sure, but the presumption is,
But it means that we're opening our minds.
We're all conversing with guns. You know guns, I know guns, audience knows guns, everyone knows guns.
Never heard about a gun before yet.
There's over 300 million guns legally in the United States right now. Not even counting the stuff that's still illegally.
Right.
That might be upwards of 400 million. And within that whole country,
hey, what is that called when something is? Oh, that's right, black market. You ever heard of that?
Oh, black market.
Never heard of that before. That probably is something.
Sounds racist.
I know, right? Black. Is that like when you go? I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, yeah.
Black market, yeah, like when you go to the.
Well, the black.
I would go if you're ever in Harlem on 110th. Party Phil's tips. Yeah. If you're ever in Harlem on 110th, go to Kennedy Fried Chicken on Lexington, or not Lexington. 110th and 5th in Harlem.
What if you're vegetarian?
I don't I hardly know any vegetarian places because I'm not vegetarian, but I'm not like a big meat eater either. It's not vegetarian. I just had a Cuban sandwich. I'm cubano. This interview is not going to be conducted in Spanish. Hola, chico.
Feel free, you know.
Bueno. Aquí para la gente latina. Aquí para mi latino. Que vive Colombia, que vive América Latina, que vive Estados Unidos.
Florida has a disproportionate share of the gun market, of the gun traffic, relative to the entire United States. I mean, you know, I'm from Jacksonville, you're from Miami.
Yeah.
There's
plenty of guns there, that's for sure.
You know, and
there's plenty of guns on the street.
Some for Second Amendment, you know, they're pretty, they look good, it's fun to take them out, test them out, whatnot. But, you know, the gun lobby can't front like a big portion of the product isn't marketed and sold directly to sociopaths. Like, let's keep it real.
Wait, before you say sold sociopaths.
Sold and marketed to sociopaths.
Sold and marketed to sociopaths. Yeah. What is your idea of a sociopath? And whom are these sociopaths and what do they represent?
Well, those
what kind of individual? Okay, let's talk about. Wait.
Psychiatric community would define however they want. You know, the DSM-5, which I believe only came out.
Archetypes.
Yes.
Individuals that have an antisocial personality.
I don't mean being an ass. Let's put it like this.
Let's not make any generalizations.
The type of people who flash guns around people that don't have guns. The kind of people who they got a concealed carry permit, but they wear their clothes extra tight so you see the bones. You know, the people who, you'll hear people say, you know, oh, I don't believe in shooting people, blah blah blah. But if I had a reason, you know, you go in that direction. That's what I'm talking about. You know, there was a company. It was at the NRA convention.
People that live hidden lives, double lives.
A few weeks ago.
People that say one thing but then do the other.
They sold gun targets, like plasticine torsos made in different styles for you to test your weaponry out on. And one of them was called the ex-girlfriend, right? Yeah. One of them looked just like Obama. They of course you have like aliens and zombies. But
those are I would definitely want to.
Because when we talk,
aliens should be.
Because when we talk about the weapons of our arms, we talk about the freedom to have these weapons, these powerful weapons. We must be conscious of the fact that things like Newtown are things that can happen. Things like, like Newtown, Connecticut, the shooting at
Virginia Tech,
shooting at the Columbine, shooting at that school. Those were all done with legally obtained firearms. You know, Adam Lanza's mom was the kind of woman that would sit on the internet in the middle of the night and get in flame wars with people about how important it was for people to have the right to live. You know, she was that person who after the shooting in Aurora, Colorado, that summer of last year, would be out there saying, well, just because one person did that doesn't mean, the whole time she's got her autistic son, her known, antisocial, known, violent, son, who at that point was 19 or 20, and was taking him out to gun range to learn, No. With the AR-15, Bushman, those sorts of things, the whole arsenal,
I didn't know, that's kind of,
The guy...
kind of makes sense now.
Adam Lanza
built... sense, it doesn't make sense, but it just, you're kind of...
FBI pointed out that the Federal Bureau of Investigations, there's a lot of music kids. They pointed out that...
You sound like a communist. It's not,
Well,
it's like a Black Panther Party.
I was skeptical about the FBI, but then once I saw that DiCaprio movie about J. Edgar Hoover, I was all in. It's like, okay.
What are you talking about, Catch Me If You Can?
No, the one where he plays Hoover.
Oh, I didn't see that one, but I like Catch.
Pretty good.
Have you ever heard of this movie from 10 years ago? Mm-hmm. It's called Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. They're really good.
most of Leonardo DiCaprio's movie characters are criminals of some type.
Yeah. Or child junkie basketball diaries.
Yeah.
We're old school, man.
Or stowaways, trespassing,
on boats.
Yeah.
He's the perfect. But he's old now.
You trespass.
But that's why he doesn't have much of a career now.
You stowaway on a boat, and that boat turns out to be the Titanic. Serves you right.
He probably won't be able to get some good roles till he's like an old man. But those are good movies, I think.
It was really good. But FBI pointed out that Adam Lanza had a spreadsheet that he worked on for probably years. It was, I think they said at the Times New Roman font, 8-point type, and it was 7 by 8, a gigantic listing of every mass shooting in history, itemized by type of weapon, body count, people who survived, location. He studied it and researched it and was working. That whole time his mom was taking him out to the gun range because it was his right, because it was her right. Because don't tread on me. And the whole time he was playing to me exactly what he did. At first, people thought that he had targeted that school because he went to school there, because his mom had volunteered there, but it turned out targeted that school simply because statistically he would have the best likelihood of body count. He looked at Virginia Tech. He saw that guy killed all those people, but they were adults, they were college students, and he was going on multiple floors of a building, so people had time to run. If Adam Lanza had been able to procure a Mac 11 or an Uzi or something like that, he would have used that. And if Adam Lanza's mother had been able to legally procure an Uzi or a Mac 11, on that short notice, she would have. If the boy is so dangerous, why leave a locked closet full of guns there while you're out of town, going to New York? She was gone for several days before she got back the night before that shoot. The kid was taking college level computer classes.
So why don't we make
14 or 15? You think he can't pick a lock in a gun cabinet?
So why don't we make generalizations and say that the most evil person out there was a white and he's dead now, isn't he? Yeah. He didn't.
I can't make generalizations. Evil is evil.
Evil is evil.
Every race, every creed, every religion, every nationality has a seed of darkness and evil thrown in them. It's just where you're at demographically or geographically or influences the extent to which you can. It's only America can make a Ted Bundy. Just like only Afghanistan can make a Taliban.
I'd say Ted Bundy is worse than the Taliban. Or Adam Lanza is worse than the Taliban to me because the Taliban didn't really even. The Taliban has been sitting in Afghanistan. They've never been to America.
That's true.
They're fucking Mujahideen fighters from the 80s. Right. And that has nothing to do, really. Al Qaeda and the Taliban are two different things. So we went from Adam Lanza and
but then they put themselves together.
Or we think maybe.
Or they formally did.
They formally did, right?
Bin Laden and Mullah Omar did press conferences together. They co-signed each other.
Northern Alliance.
Yeah.
Warlords, man. Where'd you get your opium from? Mine is Afghan.
Well, they took over the market. Afghanistan was something like 5% of the world's opium market before the Taliban.
You're right.
Was wiped out. And fuck the Taliban. I'm fine with them being wiped out.
And now 95% of the world's heroin comes from Afghanistan.
Yeah, and now we're
who's making that money?
The Taliban. The Taliban's making that money, and the people shipping it out. The Taliban doesn't have their own planes. The Taliban doesn't have their own boats. There's not a lot of ways to ship that much,
heroin out. You're right.
You're talking about a global supply.
It's a landlocked country.
It's not like the old French connection. It's not like the way coke travels through the Western Hemisphere. You're talking about a global. The opiates.
Yeah.
The opiates serve the whole world, and it radiates outward from that area. So they not only took over the global opium market, but then changed the whole way the stuff was shipped around. In the '60s, that stuff was coming out of
the Golden Triangle.
Yeah.
The Golden Triangle. You ever been there?
I've never been there.
I wish I could go to the Golden Triangle. Ho Chi Minh City.
Sounds like a great name for a strip club.
It definitely would be.
Yeah, and that switched over, and now we're negotiating with the Taliban, or not us. I don't
want to know.
I know no Taliban.
No Taliban.
Right.
We say no to the Taliban.
Our government, the United States government, is negotiating with the Taliban, hopefully in peaceful resolution to this war in Afghanistan, and I think that's hopeful.
This disaster created by it.
Every time we get into war with people, we end up like with worse people than we were before. You know?
Seriously.
We should have just kept Gaddafi in Libya. How much easier would things have been if we just had that crazy ass Gaddafi? You know, they had economic development. They're making money. He'd given up his weapons of mass destruction.
He did, and that was the state of flaw.
The United States allowed NATO.
He apologized.
And particularly
he was like, he sucks. He's awful. But he apologized and he gave money and he gave up his nuclear arsenal and he was like, I will work with y'all on the Taliban.
And we got suckered in. We let that nasty little man Sarkozy, you know, and NATO draw the United States in to a war that we ended up taking the blame for. Obama taking out Gaddafi was not Obama's idea. It wasn't Hillary's idea. It wasn't Susan Rice's idea. All that Benghazi shit was not their idea. You know, there's no pre-existing Gaddafi was not Bashar Assad. He was not Saddam Hussein. You know, he was a guy out there saying, yeah, all these rebels that you're backing up, they're coming to take me out. They're down with Al Qaeda. And now if you look at the evidence, yeah, they were. Yeah, so yeah, we're putting money in Al Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood out in Egypt. You know, we can just let.
So you're saying that the American government is somehow, and it's been making more apparent somehow, is involved in funding terrorist organizations, founding groups. You know, I believe that all of our wars. How many of you, if you speak Arabic, tell me what al nahasa means in Arabic, because I don't speak Arabic and I would like to know what that means. But I hear it, and I think it means that new Kanye album is dope. Oh yeah, that. Fuck, I don't like Kanye. I used to 808 and the Heartbreaks. Hey, young guys, check that out. That was like a few years ago. Yes. But that was the shit. I love that. 808. Why are you so paranoid?
Look how long we've been interfering in Egypt. You know this situation.
Yeah. We took out Anwar Sadat. I mean, he was kind of Soviet friendly.
That's right.
And we didn't like him so much.
Mubarak was vice president of Sadat. He visited the White House.
Yeah.
Mubarak visited the White House less than a week before Sadat was assassinated. And some people believe that that's where he got the okay to do the coup d'etat, to remove him. And then we backed up Mubarak for all these years. And now we've got this Mohammed Morsi, who used to be a physics professor at Cal State Fullerton or Caltech. I don't know. Look that up. Mohammed Morsi. So, I mean, you got
Muslim
Egypt,
Brotherhood, right?
Yeah, you got Egypt being run by some douchebag professor, some some it's like Cooper Poly is running Egypt or whatever, and
the guy that goes Bueller.
And then you got you've got these people who, killing people. What happened to Laura Logan, I think, was an atrocity when she got gang raped in Tahrir Square by those whoever did it. We should have cracked down. Like there should have been. Not saying crack down. The United States military should have just killed a bunch of fucking people as soon as that woman got gang raped. CBS shouldn't have sent her there in the first place because they knew it was a dangerous environment. She shouldn't have gone, but she's Laura Logan, putting herself at risk for the sake of the people or whatever. But there should have been, there should have been 100 people dead after what happened.
Isn't she what happened to her?
She got gang raped on 40 people.
No, yeah, I know.
She was trying to do a news report. And they just attacked her. She was there to represent them and try to talk about their struggle and their attempts to take down the Mubarak regime. And they beat her up and gang raped her and almost killed her. They almost they tried to attack Anderson Cooper a few days before that. But Anderson Cooper being ex-CIA has a better sense of what he's doing. So it should have been. I believe in disproportionate response, particularly around violence and killing. It's fuck it. Nothing. It's a war anyway. Who cares?
So thank you for being with us. We'll catch you later. 1988.
But we haven't talked about Game 7 yet.
Game 7. Dade County in the house tonight.
I'm just bringing up Game 7 because he's from Miami, and I know a lot of Heat fans are out there.
That's right, all my Heat fans.
Fuck I care. You know, it's like...
Yeah, but
basketball season for me ends whenever the Celtics season ends, and whatever. NFL season's coming up. That's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
What do we got going on with the NFL?
You
didn't know that we knew about that.
Football, you know, we got a new sort of have a reinvigorated Jaguar squad. It'll be interesting to see how that works out.
So whenever you tell your friends about this, tell them that we're talking about the Jags, Turkey.
Yes.
Chief Keef.
Yeah.
We'll have him on next time.
Yeah. Oh, do you know Chief Keef?
Yeah, he
really.
That's my dude. That's my dude.
Awesome.
Like we're gonna bring him in, and we're gonna talk to him about
gang
violence in Chi-Town.
Not in my fucking house. We'll have to shoot it on the dock or go out in the
old block.
We'll just shoot it across the street from the police station and make it easy for them. Just kidding. Okay, this is HullCast. We're at 47 minutes. We're gonna sign off now. Go down the street, drink some beer. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Yes, sir.